are you gonna hop on the stream to listen in on there, or are you gonna just stay in Discord?
I'm gonna stay in Discord, but I can't hop into the stream real quick to see if it's doing what it's supposed to do.
That was a bad idea. I have it set to record or to stream my audio and my desktop audio, so that way it grabs your voice from Discord. And then while you were talking, I unmuted the stream chat to kind of listen in to see if it's working right. So it started echoing you. Oh, that was a bad idea. But it sounds like it's working pretty good. I muted it already again, so it's not going to do that again. But yeah, no, it sounds like it's actually working pretty good. Cool. All right, so I think the structure for today's is we're going to get caught back up on Goblin Wilds to talk about what happened last week, or Friday, Saturday. What happened Saturday? Um, we were gonna catch up and keep going with Fear and Loathing, but Fear and Loathing we actually put off until we can get more players. So that is postponed until further notice.
Because I don't know of anyone who would be of similar humor to join Fear and Loathing.
I know a couple people, but I'm pretty sure they don't have Tuesdays free, and that's the problem there. We still might actually go back and continue it, just you and me. We're postponing it for now until we decide what we want to do. We are in a kind of a tough spot, so it would take some doing to be able to do it two-player, but we could. So,
Two very human fighters with the heavy armor, master feet, and tough.
yeah, that would be something to behold. My Friday game. Oh man, what happened on Friday? I haven't talked about like the campaign itself, what has happened in the campaign, but I've started running them through a book adventure. They're a little over leveled for the start of it, but they feel like they actually flowed in very nicely. So I'm actually very happy with the way that's going. And they need a little bit more structure than any other group that I've been in. They're a little bit less get their characters into things. They're more just like let the adventure come to me kind of group. So I'm trying to break them out of that, and I'm hoping this book adventure will do that. Maybe they'll see like what they want to do with their characters and how they want to take them, and I'm hoping that's how it works. And that is something that will happen. But we're gonna get to the main thing today, which is the Barrister. We're going to talk about Barrister and what has happened in Barrister so far. Catch up on that and what happened this last week. There was a lot that happened 2 weeks ago. A lot that was revealed. And I actually really like the way that the campaign is going. I really like the story that has been I've been able to portray to you guys so far. I like the character involvement and the
Like, I'm still trying to figure out the story. It just seems like we're going around doing random shit.
I mean, that is a lot of the story. That is a lot of what D&D is. But there actually is like an overarching story that is becoming apparent to some of the people. Uh, yes, the image on the stream is going to be boring. It's going to be a static image, and I still have not been able to create the image that I want to post up. So I just took this one off of Google. Anyways, Barrister. Barrister started as a way to get at least one of my friends to play D&D because I wanted to run a game for them. They seemed like a really good role player, and I was really excited to have them on board. They have since left. the campaign. They left actually 2 sessions ago, and I was really sad about that. And there's not much you can do about stuff like that. People just decide that they don't want to play 5th edition anymore, and then they leave. So Barrister. Barrister started with how many people did it start with? It started with a paladin. It started with a rogue. It started with 4 people, actually. Did it? Was it only 4 or was it 5? I thought it started with 5. It did start with 5, but the 5th player was not present. That's right. He was unable to make it to the first session, and then he made it to the second, and he missed the third, and he made it to the fourth, and then he missed 2, and then he made it to the next one, and then he had to drop out because he felt like he was missing too much of it because of life reasons. So, to start it off, I had all the players send me their backgrounds, and with as much detail as possible, preferably with at least 2 people, named people, at least 1 named person, but I would prefer 2 people named, so that I can incorporate into the campaign. I could make the world feel like it was that these characters were part of the world, and I could incorporate some NPCs that come up that they know about. And so I got the backstories. I initially got the backstory for the Grung Rogue, Rob, immediately. As soon as I asked, they typed it out, and it was a fantastic backstory. It is one of the best backstories I've ever gotten from a player. And it was all about how the Grung society is in tiers. There's different tiers in this society. There's the royals, then there's the guard, and then there's the merchant, and then there's the common folk. And the player's character, Rob, was part of the guard part of society. And the way that the society works is that you marry into your ranking. So if you were part of the guard, you would marry someone that is in the guard. If you were in royalty, you marry someone in royalty. Basically, keep the people in charge, and keep the people that are slaves as slaves, kind of thing. Which, a lot of people do not agree with, and they are very understandably. Well, on one of their missions, patrolling the city, they ran into someone named Oakley, which was another grung down in the commoners' society. Well, they fell in love, and they started seeing each other, even though it was illegal to do so. And this is all the backstory that she wrote for her character, and I absolutely love it. And they were found out by the government, and they banished Rob, and they killed Oakley because the punishment for that kind of illegal act, the illegal action, was death. But they could not kill Rob because they didn't want to kill Rob. Rob had made a name for himself. He was a leader of a group of soldiers, and they did not feel like killing someone that was so high up on the tier, so they just banished him instead. Well, Rob traversed over to the desert, and if you know anything about grungs have to submerge themselves in water once per day, or they gain a level of exhaustion. Exhaustion has 6 tiers. At the 6th tier, you die. So Rob was basically committing suicide without stabbing himself through, by just going into the desert and just walking as far as he could. When he ran into one of the other players' characters, Jorah, who is a paladin at the time, paladin cleric. and took pity on Rob and bathed and nurtured and took care of him, nursed him back to health, and Rob was very unhappy about this. He was very angry that he could not die, but he was having a very hard time being able to uh, catch up uh, with his physical limitations. So Jorah nursed him back to health and took Rob under his wing, and they traveled the world for a few years before they found the guild that they were looking for to join into it and meet the rest of the party, and that's where the campaign started with Rob. Jorah, on the other hand, he started out as a simple peasant in a village, had a friend named Bradley. They spent a lot of time together doing just random bro things, and then one day their village was raided by bandits, a bandit group known as the Blazing Fists. When that happened, Jorah and his friend and his good friend Bradley signed up for the military, got trained, and went to protect their town from the numerous bandit raids that had been happening from these people. They ended up going into war against them and fought them till they felt they were defeated enough that they would never attack their town again. He had a small group, a company with him, mainly of him, Bradley, their commander, Grace, and another person that Jorah trained named Ryan. Then, shortly after, their town was basically left in ruins because they were able to stop the bandit raids, but it was almost too late for the town to actually survive. Jorah went off and fought in a couple more wars against some other groups, some other bandits, and turned over. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Hold on. He went off, fought some other things, came back, and started like shifting. Oh man, I need to actually pull up his backstory. I think I got a few details off. Hold on, I have it saved. There's a lot to his backstory. He did a very good job of coming up with a really good backstory for his character. And I had it all in my head, and I am losing it because my brain is very bad at that. While I'm looking for this, I mean, you don't come in till later, but why don't you give us your backstory?
Fontaine's backstory?
Yeah. While I'm looking for this, because I know I got some information wrong, and I want to make sure I get it correct.
Well, I don't actually know the ages of the other players, or the other characters, but I'm pretty sure Fontaine's one of the youngest. He a young boy, but I say young boy, but he's like 23. But Fontaine Genevius was born into a high-ranking and influential military family in Fort Gray. Where that is in relation to where we are now, I have no idea. I have not learned much of the world map, and whenever I try to pull the world map to figure things out, it doesn't load for me, so I said, fuck it. But, of course, being born in a military family, he was taught, military tactics and how to fight from a young age, where they found out he excelled at using a bow. so that he would constantly be practicing shooting targets, stringing his bow from like a dead sleep, just running different drills into him. And he was just able to excel faster than his other peers and made it to the rank of second lieutenant, thinking that, okay, I've proven myself. I've made it to a decent rank for someone my age. Maybe they'll like put me in the front lines. Except his grandfather, General Genevius, first name I still have not decided on. I was actually going to do that today, but said no. You're going to sit in the rear with the gear, and basically made him a clerk. Like he was the one that would sift through information and would pass down orders to different groups, and just I trained my entire life to be in combat, but they just have me here sitting at a desk. So he decided that, I don't necessarily need my family's rank and influence to make a name for myself. And he just took off and heard about a champion in the pits who was taking down entire teams in one shot, and it was like, oh yeah, I can take this guy, and was actually headed up to the King's Pit, but happened to take a detour and found the party in a barn. And the rest of it's
History.
really the rest. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna restart Jorah's backstory because what we talked about for his backstory and what actually he wrote down for his backstory have changed. And I did read through it before, but I was still going off of what we had talked about previously, what me and him had talked about. So, uh, what his backstory is he was married to a woman named Olivia, and they were living in a small little hut on a small town. I don't think he wrote the town name in here. Town name was. What did I name the town? What was the name? Town name. I'll figure out the town name later. I have to open up Fantasy Grounds, and that takes a while. He did write in here Bellator. The sound name was Bellator. And he lived there for a long time. He had a wonderful life. And his wife would make small pastries for him to bring to the local militia and keep the local militia fed while they are stationed there protecting the town. And one of the soldiers had said that they needed to inspect the cake that he had, the small cakes, and ate them all. And that person started coming around for dinner, and that was Bradley. And he kept stopping by for dinner, and they always left an open seat for him whenever he wanted to whenever he might want to stop by. He had a daughter named Hazel. She was only about 7 when the rumors of war started creeping closer to the town.
So Scott,
Yes.
I hate to do this to you, but some family shit just came up, so I gotta get off of here.
Okay. I will catch him up to. I'll at least get him to where you join the party, and then we'll wait for you.
So I will, I guess, either talk to you later or talk to you a bit, depending on how long this takes.
All right.
Later.
Yep. So Jorah had a little daughter. She was about 7 when the rumors of war started creeping closer to town, and then Bradley convinced Jorah to join up with him to fight and save the town. Put him in heavy armor, made him fight against him, randomly popped up behind him to surprise him, and it always worked. It always seemed to work to surprise him. Every day. Discord's cutting me out. Oh. Okay. And okay, cool. The day before the battle, he was given a shield by his wife and daughter. They had been saving up money by selling cookies around the town, and they were able to buy him a shield. The shield had the symbol of Torm on it because that is who he has grown to follow. The face of protection, the face of self-sacrifice. They went to war the very next day. He took the shield and he was able to wield the shield in an effective way to be able to save his life on multiple different occasions. Bradley fought by his side and also was able to save him. I'm having a hard time. Was able to save him on multiple different occasions. They did not end up winning the battle, though. They were too outnumbered. There were too many of the blazing fists, and their Jorah's home was set ablaze. And Bradley stopped him from rushing headlong in to save his wife and daughter because it was suicide. So, his wife and daughter, he does not know what has happened to him. He doesn't know if they are still alive. He doesn't know anything about that. He took some time after the battle to compile himself, and he went with Bradley to join the military because he did not want anyone else to suffer that kind of loss. He quickly rose up the ranks, was joined by a fellow paladin named Ryan. He trained Ryan as if Ryan was his own son. And then they were put under the command of a Commander Grace, and who was also a paladin. They were a group of paladins, and they became known as the Defenders. It was not the most creative name, but it was very accurate. And they fought in a couple different wars. I have not specifically laid out which wars or who they were against, and that might actually be a plot point later on, so I'm not going to go into much detail. So I'm going to leave that for later. At one point, Jorah did not see any point to staying in the military. It was starting to become too political and too never-ending of fighting the war. And he decided to leave the military. It was 10 years after he had joined that he decided to leave. And when he did, he went to one of the nearby cities of his home. He went back to his hometown, kind of as a last minute, um, saying goodbye to everything. And he saw this little frog walking amongst the buildings, who looked very parched, dried out, and near death. And he nursed Rob back to life, and they left together to adventure the world before running into the guild that they eventually joined to be able to defend more people. But it was no longer a military obligation, it was a choice that Jorah made. And that is Rob and Jorah's backstory. And now we have, and Petrin's. No, it wasn't Petrin. What is his name? It's Fontaine. Fontaine. We have Rob's backstory, Jorah's backstory, and then Fontaine's, but Fontaine does not come until a bit later. And we do have our wizard on, and he can talk about his backstory.
Hurrah! Well, I think I will do a dramatic reading as Caleb Widogast, not related to the Caleb Widogast, but maybe. So here goes. And feel free to stop me and maybe, interject with anything if anything has changed at all, and it'll be just fine. Okay.
Don't ruin my audio thing.
I'm not. I'm just clearing my throat.
Well, then go. Do your thing.
I'm trying. I'm gonna go.
Do it.
When I was a child of 10 years old, a wizard came to my town of Ellsby. I was bespitten by his power in the show that he put on for the town. He picked me as a volunteer, and I participated with him. I saw such feats of magic erupt from his hands that I became obsessed with finding such power myself and with who he was. I asked his name, Caleb Widogast, and even though I was a child, I wanted to be him and learn all that he knew. He gave me a scroll, a cantrip he called it, Mage Hand. I saw a boisterous amount of his personality, radiation of intellect, and a cat on his shoulder he willed in and out of existence. However, at the end of the show, he spoke an incantation and a bright light flashed. The entire group that showed up then acted what I could only describe as charmed. And he said to all to hand over all the money that they had on them. One by one, they all did so, and I was somehow spared from this charm, as I looked in confusion as everyone gave their hard-earned coin. He left shortly after, with not a single person remembering his name or the event that transpired, and my parents dragged me away, back to our monotonous lifestyle, keeping me from being able to pursue my hero, my obsession. And now the thief of the town's coin. I began to try and understand the scroll he gave me, but my childish brain could not comprehend the words. I started to read as many books as I could get my little hands on. I learned all that I could do was practice for years, until this spell was second nature. However, I learned that if I were to perform the spell, it would be consumed. Only weeks after witnessing Caleb's power, I found a local mage, Asmodeus, or Modi, but everyone in the town called him Moody, who gave me an old rustic spellbook and copied my mage hand, all for my meager savings of 2 gold. He tore out the first 20 pages and told me when I could prove to him I could master mage hand, I could be trained into a worthy wizard under him. He gave me an old cracked gem set in a necklace for my first arcane focus. And so began my many months of practicing creating the spectral hand. After a year, I was able to show my formidable mastery of the formless hand, and he then, surprised, took me into his apprenticeship. My parents were mostly disapproving of my newfound interest in magic, regretting taking me to the performance, even though they had no idea it happened. That's a typo. That needs to be changed. I'm just going to delete that because they don't remember the thing happened.
No.
My parents were mostly disapproving of my newfound interest in magic, now dealing with a phantom hand wandering around the house and displacing objects and possessions. They never understood my need to learn this damn fishing town. I've drifted away from most of them and lost most interest in them. My first spell that I copied and learned was Find Familiar, and I called into service a weasel, or ferret, Fievel. But he did not communicate with me or obey me. He just swam out into the bay, so I became irritated. And over the course of many weeks, I became more and more aggravated and eventually grabbed him by his fluffy tail and threw Fievel into the bay of the Lune Sea, which, to my surprise, the ferret returned with a gloriously iridescent pearl that I could tell may be a focus. I successfully communicated with the ferret finally and he exclaimed his displeasure at being chucked like a dog's ragdoll chew toy, and I apologized for my childish anger and insolence. He became my only real true friend, as all the other children were told that I was different, unusual, because I spent my time reading and practicing magic. And so I was bullied and cast out, but my peers meant nothing to me. Through the years, he would gift me with new spells if I showed the intelligence and aptitude that he expected from a master apprentice. Eventually, after many of those years, I heard of who I was looking for, dreaming of Caleb and his recent whereabouts. It was said that he had joined a group called the Star Wizards under a guild by the name of Force of the Vicious. However, the patrons said that they had been sent on a mission to stop a great evil that threatened to destroy the world. I knew I wasn't ready to pursue him, so I bided my time. However, after another year of no word, I overheard some more well-traveled drunkards mention that the quest had failed, and possibly everyone died. But not Caleb. There was no way. He was too powerful to fall to anything but old age. That doesn't mean he wasn't in trouble and needed assistance. I told Modi it was time to go out, learn, and pursue magic and spells as the calling came to me, though the calling was always there and constantly pushing me. And so I left, telling no one but Modi, and headed for the guild hall of the Force of the Vicious in the city of Aldport. A 16 days travel. Whether altruistic or chaotic, I have an unending need to become what I know of Caleb Widogast, but with my own personal flair. And if I meet him, I shall assist him, show him my dedication and thankfulness by demonstrating my power to him. But I shall also inform him that there was one person that wasn't affected by his memory-wiping ruse, and if I feel powerful enough, I shall usurp him and take his magic for my own.
Yeah, that is Caleb, and that is where Caleb currently is. Well, not currently, but that is where Caleb was at the beginning of this campaign. The other person that was in the group at the beginning was Astrid, who was played by my friend. That his character's backstory was that he was in a fighting ring, and it actually gave me an idea for the way that the world works. He was in a fighting ring, and it was a fight. It was a championship fight. And one of the rules for the fighting ring was that you were not to use magic in a way to enhance your abilities. But the person they fought against in the last fight was very clearly enhanced by magic, but the judges would not call it. They would not call it out. And this person ended up picking them up and breaking their spine. Her spine, because he is playing a female human. And so he had a good run in the pits, in the fighting pits, but was ultimately stuck in a wheelchair after that and was unable to fight anymore. Being one to not give up, he or she kept finding how to work mechanics and became an artificer, specifically an armorer, because they were able to turn their wheelchair into a mech and was able to don it as power armor. And they had just joined the guild to protect people rather than going back into the pits, because the pits are obviously rigged, and it was their goal to determine why and how they are rigged, and to get back at the people that made her lose her legs. Unfortunately, at the time when I actually put that in the campaign, they were like, no, I can't do this. I'm going to play a different character. And it kind of just went downhill from there. And then they stopped playing D&D altogether. Well, 5th edition D&D altogether.
I was gonna say, oh god, whoa.
No, they stopped playing 5th edition D&D altogether. They really like Pathfinder 2nd edition, and they just moved over to that and stopped playing anything else. Alright, let's see. What happened right off the bat? We started with you entering the guild and signing up. And I was very out of it that day, so...
Wasn't I also at work? Was I at work or no?
No, I don't think so.
No, it was the next session.
Yeah,
it was
the
on our
next
way to Dunmouth.
Dunmarsh. And you guys, you got signed up. I was very out of it. I had not been able to find a good picture of the guild that I wanted, so I ended up using one, and it was much smaller, much smaller than what I had initially imagined for the guild. So you guys were given very, very easy instructions of, hey, there's this town over here. They have been saying there have been reports of these weird orbs appearing and people missing. Also, they are under an election, and the one mayor that people are leaning towards is part of another guild. Please do not let that person become the mayor.
Oh no.
Or that guild will have power over that city, and that is a city very close to this main city, Aldport. So
Yeah, Aldport.
I had to remember what the name was.
I was like, Port Ald, where's that? Oh shit.
Well, it's like, it's a port something. Port Ald. Oh, Aldport. That's what it was. Yeah, that's right. You guys are it was a town very close to Aldport, and if a guild had control over the city that close to the port, it would be a very bad situation for the rest of the guilds. So they asked you to make sure that person does not get in power as a mayor, but did not give you an option because they did not have any members in the running for mayor, because they don't tend to put people in charge like that. So you guys headed out, and that was the end of the first session. The first good while of this of this campaign took like 2 or 3 sessions to do just about anything, because there was a lot of talk, a lot of out of character talking, and yeah. So the next session was you guys found a merchant, and you guys were traveling on the road. Guys were headed to Dunmarsh, and you spent a couple nights out on the road, and you ended up getting to Dunmarsh towards the end of the session. Again, like I said, takes a couple of sessions to get anything done because it was very slow. It was very much a casual campaign.
Which I would like to maybe put out there. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there isn't. There absolutely is not. But it definitely was going too slow for one of the players. And that's a reason why they stopped playing. You guys get to Dunmarsh, and you run into the last person in the party that was supposed to have joined before you guys actually got there, but they were unable to make it the previous sessions. And his name was Gardak. He was a deep gnome. He was a deep gnome astrologer. He studied the stars without even seeing them from deep underground. And the only way that they could come to the surface was if they knew about their star, because each one of them was assigned a star. And if they knew about their star well enough to be able to track it for an entire year without being able to actually see where the star goes, then they gained their powers to throw their fists, as in a Sun Soul monk. And then they could come to the surface, and they were to share their story with the world, and about their star with the world, or share their story with their star, is the wording of it. I had a lot of plans for Gardak, and he sadly got to a point where he said he could not reliably stay in the party, so he ended up leaving the party. You guys met up with him. There was some hilarious commentary, hilarious role-playing. I loved that session. And you guys ended up going over and talking with the captain of the guard, who said that these orbs had been appearing and the people have been disappearing, but their belongings have been left behind. So you guys started doing some investigation with that and wanted to go investigate the old mayor's house because you heard there was a new mayor election. So what happened to the old mayor? And what did you find at the old mayor's house? Do you remember?
We found death. No, we found that the house was deserted, and if I'm remembering correctly, we saw that there was like clothes left behind, as if his body had like disintegrated.
Yes.
And then we found, if I also remember correctly, one orb upstairs, or no?
Yes, you did.
And then from there, we went to the basement. Well, we split up. Some of us went upstairs, the others went downstairs. I believe I went downstairs because I have, Caleb has dancing lights. And so I went down with Gardak, even though he has I'm sure he has dark vision, but anyway. We went down there, and we found, what was it, 14 tables of each one having like 7 orbs placed upon it.
Something like that.
And so from that, we kind of freaked out, and then we began investigating the orbs, and we then got to the point where we attempted to destroy one. So we had Jorah, good old paladin cleric, and had him take a whack at the thing, and what did it do? It like a shockwave glowed red, and then
No. It
No?
glowed a
Okay.
couple other colors. It
Oh.
was like dye going into water. It turned from black to white to red to gray.
Okay.
And then it like fell apart like it was goop and then dissolved into the stone.
Okay. Okay. So then after that had happened, we well, before we went to the mayor, we went to the keep and talked to the captain of the guard, whose name was Captain Alliot.
Yes.
And we returned to the keep to speak to him to let him know what we had found. But before we got there, a man was vocally berating another man, to which, if I remember correctly, Gardak shoves the loud man
Oh yeah,
into the river.
You got on the way to the mayor's house.
Ah, that.
Yeah.
So, Gardak shoves this man into the river. Jorah tried to save him, and as he drifts away down the river, he says, "The guild will hear of that!" And we were like, "Uh-oh." But none of us actually made the connection that that was the mayoral candidate that we were supposed to stop from being mayor. Funny enough. We went to this. Okay, then we went to the mayor's house. We smashed one, and there were approximately 111 remaining. And then we went back to the keep, found out that Captain Alliot had been kidnapped, and we were told to sit in like a the mess room, the dining room. Sorry, and Jorah was just like, all right, and the rest of us were like, no. So we went to the kitchen. Started looking for a way out. We found a hidden wall, and then the guy who arrested us came back, and he essentially was under orders that we needed to be detained, to which Jorah was just like, well, I guess. And I, Caleb, stepped out from the shadows and attempted to cast Charm Person on him, which I believed was effective. And so we told him that to tell his leader, who we found out later was named Joffrey, the guy who fell into the river, that we maybe shouldn't have done that, but oh well. Told him to tell Joffrey that, yeah, he took care of us, we're dead. And in response, we convinced Jorah to give Steve his prized possession, the shield, which he did with a tear running down his cheek. And after that, we left, went down the secret passage, and we went along the road that led north, I believe. While doing so, we tried to investigate some houses to see if there was anybody else there, and pretty much every house we went to was empty, devoid of life, with a pile of clothes and an orb on a table. And so we said, oh no. So we continued forward until we got to what we believed was a temple or a church. To which I, before we entered what is it?
Dunmarsh.
Dunmarsh. I almost said Dunmarsh, but I was like, no, that's a fable city. Which I think that is. I think Dunmarsh is a little town in Fable, if I'm not mistaken. It sounds really. Oh no, Wraithmarsh. Never mind.
I was gonna say if it is, then it was not intentional.
Not intentional. Sorry. Don't sue us. Anyway, before we entered Dunmarsh, we all had to make a save. I don't know how to really say it non-meta-ly. We all had to.
You all had a possibility to sense something over the town, and only
Which
one person
nobody
succeeded.
did, but nobody succeeded except for Caleb the wizard. And so Caleb the whole time was paranoid as hell. And when we got to this church, that paranoid feeling began to intensify. And then our paladin cleric Jorah, he did sense good. No, he did detect. What is it?
Divine sense.
Divine sense. That's it. Divine sense, to which it was just here, bad, and he was like, "Dear Tom," and so we were like, "All right, let's go in." So we go in and find that is where Captain Elliot had been taken.
Well, you guys also determined what temple this was to.
Oh yes, to Merkul, the god of death.
Yep.
I have that written down. So Captain Elliot was in the Church of Merkul, bound, and we began to, we woke him up, untied him, and tried to help him up. And Rob was watching the door and saw 3 figures were coming this way. So, in an, again, unfortunate circumstance, we all tried to be stealthy, and only one was very stealthy, while the rogue rolled in that one. Again, the wizard rolled the highest stealth out of the party, which
It was the only time the wizard rolled the highest stealth.
Yeah, so far, yes, definitely. Well, no, wasn't my stealth roll with the with invisibility pretty high just last session with the succubi?
It wasn't the highest of the party. That was what I mean, because you were the only one that rolled.
Okay, fine.
I'm saying.
Anyway, yeah, I know it's a technicality. I only rolled, therefore it obviously was the highest roll at that moment. So Joffrey, followed by 2 seemingly charmed or controlled guards, came in. I believe he started to have a conversation with Captain Elliot because we made him look like he was still bound. And then, after Joffrey had gone up to Elliot and spoke to him, Jorah stepped out and began talking to him again. Because if I remember correctly, no, Joffrey was still by the door. All 3 of them were still there. Jorah stepped out, and then they were talking. And something that Joffrey said just set Caleb off, and so Caleb decided he would try Agonizer's Scorcher at the 3 enemies, to which my stealth was not high enough, and so therefore Joffrey saw, counterspelled. The other 2 guards were freaked out. They were like, "Oh god!" I was counterspelled, and I was like, "Shit!" But then he was like, "Ha ha! Oh, bad guy monologuing," and so he kept talking. And after another little bit of talking, he then was like, "All right, enough of this." And then the fight began. We left the 2 guards alone for the most part. We hurt them a little bit, but I think I was able to tell that they were charmed, or that they looked like they were not of their own mind.
Yes.
So I just focused on Joffrey. And so I hit him with another Scorcher. I think I hit him with Magic Missile, maybe. I don't know. But eventually the fight culminated with him speaking a demonic word.
A word of power.
A word of power, there we go. And all of us had to make a save, and only one made that save.
It wasn't even a high save. You guys just kept rolling really well.
No, we just rolled like shit. But in a series of cinematic events, our paladin cleric survived this. He made the save, and so with one final blast of clerical power, casted Guiding Bolt on the on Joffrey and exploded him to bits. and then we all
Well,
woke up.
Everything
Well,
else that
no, there was
happened-
more.
Yeah, there
There
was
was-
something
yeah.
else that happened there.
Well, I mean, I wasn't awake at that time, so you might as well take over for that.
When Jorah stood there defiantly against the power word, the rest of the orbs that were
Oh yeah.
appeared in the temple, and they all glowed, and they were all on pedestals, and each one of them was they're black orbs, perfectly cylindrical, and when you touch them, they are slimy and very slippery. When they appeared, they all acted as eyelids and eyeballs and opened to have a multitude of colored irises across the numerous orbs. And amongst this, the space at the back of the chapel started glowing brightly. A very bright black glow. And Jorah quickly cast Guiding Bolt to kill off Joffrey, who, when he did that, all the orbs disappeared again. And the glowing stopped, Joffrey dropped, and everyone else came to. Back at the chapel. Perfectly normal.
And the thing is, it was at this moment where he realized he didn't necessarily want to be Paladin Cleric as much as it was Paladin Warlock.
And so we made some changes. We changed over his cleric levels to warlock levels. Says like in that moment, because he was able to resist the darkness, he also kind of embraced the darkness and took it on in himself.
Embrace Torm!
And also Torm guided him. So we went ahead and made that change on his character.
So Paladins can cast Guiding Bolt?
No, that was like the remainder of his.
Well, then
cleric abilities.
I don't know if you remember this, but when oh no, did he say Eldritch Blast? He might have
He
actually
said
said
Eldritch
Eldritch Blast.
Blast.
Okay, because I was remembering the time when he tried to hit Grace through the door, and for a second, I swear I thought he said, Guiding Bolt, and I just was like, wait a minute.
Actually, no, I think
what?
he did say Guiding Bolt. Hold on.
Yeah, I think he did as well, and I was like,
I
wait,
think
what?
Paladins can cast Guiding Bolt. No! Wait, no. Celestial Warlock. Celestial Warlock can pull spells from the cleric's spell list.
Oh,
So
okay.
he does have Guiding Bolt.
Okay, all right.
Is anybody engaging in the chat?
No one's in the chat.
No, I'm literally watching.
Yeah, there's
It's
one
just-
person watching.
Yeah, it's me.
There was up to 5 people earlier, but
I scared him away.
yeah, it was actually during your when you were telling about your backstory that it went from
Everybody
5 down to 1.
Nobody wants to hear bad English accent.
No, I think it's just not what they were expecting it to be, so they just left.
They're like,
Oh, D&D. Oh, it's
Wait, Indie Phaz does a D&D recap while drinking. I wonder what this means. This
Well-
isn't what I wanted.
yeah, but I'm not drinking right now. I just haven't removed the while drinking part.
yeah. But
Yeah.
so after we all came to, we escorted the captain. Oh, and we found that there was the 2 guards were Jeff and Jeff, and
I
we,
still love that part.
Jeff and Geoff, actually,
Yeah,
I should say.
yes.
What's your name? Jeff. And you, sir? Geoff. How do you spell that?
Jeoff.
So, which it was at this time where, well, technically it was out of character, but it was told to me that the charm person that I had cast before didn't actually take, because Joffrey had cast probably some more powerful version of charm person on that guy and said, agree to whatever they say, or something along those lines. And so you basically technicality'd, okay, you didn't beat Charm Person, but he's gonna make it seem like it did. So yes, he failed. Yes. Oh, Caleb was so excited, and then when that bit of information dropped, it was like, damn it. Because I tried to cast Charm Person the first time on Joffrey before we knocked him into the damn river, and it didn't even work. And I was like, God damn it! Why do I bother? And then I got a renewed faith in Charm Person because it worked on the guard, or so I thought. And so I was like, the spell is useful. Fuck! No, it's
It
not!
will be useful. It just, in those very specific situations, it wasn't.
It's just, I have to just cast it at 9th level forever. That's it.
No,
There's
because
no way.
that doesn't change the save DC.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I just need to become smarter.
Yeah.
I just need to read more books. There is a thing. We're gonna go back to the guild, and I'm gonna be like, everyone, we need to take 1 year so I can read. Wait, I can't remember what the rule is for training attributes. I know it's here somewhere. But after
You're not
we
going to
walk,
have a year to train.
no. But after we walked the captain back, we said, farewell for the most part, except for the fact that we, were like, does anybody need help here? I mean, we just kind of stopped this weird demonic thing that was happening in your town. Do you know if anybody needs help? And he was like, no, it's not my job, which was weird. So we were like, all right, fine.
No,
So
he said that he's been too focused on
Yeah, I know.
orbs.
He's been too focused on that whole thing. Which, I think after that, all the orbs disappeared, or we never went back and checked.
You never went back and checked.
Never went back and checked.
They disappeared out of the cathedral. Like, only
Yeah.
Jorah saw that they were actually in the cathedral.
Right. But, so we just kind of forgot all about that. Everything's fine. So we then went door to door, like, hello, we're from Force of the Vicious. Is there any help you need? No. Fine. Next. Until we found, a mousy elven bookworm, shy, embarrassing... What? Oh, no, that's me. Mousy elven bookworm, shy, and then embarrassing human wizard. She's researching ruins north of town. Weren't there before, appeared out of nowhere. Tranquility might know of traveling elven city. Her name is Erin. About 600 years old. She something about before Lyreton. Tiny house next to tree southeast of Western Bridge, northwest. Oh, that's where her house is. In case I wanted to go back and see her, because yay, awkward people. Which maybe I'll try and say something to the town about us going there. When we start to head back to the guild, but I don't know. That might take some convincing. Plus, it might not even be there anymore. I mean, we've been traveling for days to get to Kingspit, and if we try and go to that city, it'll probably be gone, knowing our luck.
Yeah, because the only lead that you got about the Elven ruins was that there was a Elven city that would teleport around.
Mm-hmm.
And this might be the ruins of that city. It might still be teleporting, so why is it doing that if it's in ruins?
So it's like, if we would try and, all right, let's stop here, go north. We go north, and it's like, there's nothing here. Damn it, they must have teleported away. We walk away, and we just hear a behind us, like, what? Oh, look, the ruins. What the shit? All right, let's go. That'd be pretty great. But after we learn about that, we leave town, and
Never
we're camping in the
ask about it again. Which is a common thing with this campaign.
What about the city?
Something happens, and you never ask about it again.
Well, I mean, the thing is, something happened, and then we got sidetracked with Jorah's daughter. Ugh.
No, you guys went back You did get something about Jorah's daughter, but you didn't even go there first.
What's a
You went
Dunmouth?
south.
Yeah, we went south because
No, you got two
Oh.
bounties. One bounty
Yeah, we got
was about defeating the champion up in the pit,
yeah.
which was trying to tie in two different characters' backstories.
Assistance calling in mouth problem with the sea lifetime. Oh yeah, that's why we went to the sea lifetime supply fish. We
Yes.
did that first.
But you ran into something before you actually went down south.
Well,
So
yeah,
you
I'll
guys
get to-
made your
yes.
way back from Dunmarsh. You made it back to Aldport.
We met Bradley.
You
Bradley.
ran into Bradley on the way.
Yep. Never put Joe on watch, said Bradley, and I was like, I will. Caleb will remember that.
Yeah, and then he said that he was heading up north. Joris felt that something was off about the way he was traveling. Asked him about it. He said, "Come up north. He cannot explain it here." And so Jorah really want to head up north. You guys get back to the town. Well, you get close to the town, and you see
Yeah.
a woman on a
Naked on the
stone singing a song to what appears to be a little baby.
Yes. Wolves asleep amidst the trees, bats all swaying in the breeze, but one soul lies anxious wide awake, fearing all manner of ghouls, hags, and wraiths. For your dolly, Polly's sleep has flown. What? Don't dare let her tremble alone, for the witcher, heartless cold, paid in coin of wait a minute. Is this literally the Witcher song?
Yeah,
Oh.
I found a version of it that was really, really creepily done and really nice on YouTube, and I went ahead and used it.
Yes,
it was
and
very well done.
it was very well done, and we all tried to be like, "Oh, write down what she's saying."
And you all were like, "This is very,
What's
very
this
sketchy. We need to go check this out. You have to investigate this." She's just
Yep.
there sitting on a rock singing a song.
Why
Very
is she
sketchy.
naked? And then Gardak was like, "I don't like plot hooks," and it's like, "Shut up."
No. He was
Oh.
not like, "I don't like plot hooks." He was like, "This is something that seems like very normal. She's just bathing and she stopped and sang a song to her baby." Like,
Like naked on a rock in the
Yeah.
middle of a river.
Yeah.
Sure.
that happens.
We were
It's
just-
olden times. They used the river for bathing.
And we're just like, Gardak, shut up. We were like, Gardak, stop. Like, why are you doing this, man? We gotta be like this?
And so you guys made your presence known to her,
And she got scared.
and she swam upriver, which is something you did
And
not
then-
expect to happen.
And then the baby, what was the baby, drifted down to us, and I used Mage Hand to pick up what it was, and it was just seaweed.
Yeah, it was a seaweed wrap. There's nothing
baby.
weird about that.
It was just a seaweed wrap, man. She was trying to enjoy her Subway sandwich, and we just scared her. We just scared it right out, plumb right out of her hand.
No, the part that threw you off was the inky blackness that was with it.
Oh yeah, that's right. The inky black knees.
And so you guys chased her upstream into the lake where where Gardak surprised everyone by singing out a lullaby.
Yeah. I didn't write any of that. I did write somewhere, "Magic missile never misses" as a quote. To which, after that whole thing got resolved and he received, I believe, a point of inspiration or something.
Yes, he did.
Which I don't think he ever used.
No.
We then went back to town, and when we went to sleep that night, I believe that was that night, was it
Yeah,
not?
Caleb heard singing coming from the lake.
Oh no, I was talking about the thing about the beholder, but I guess that was
No, that was back in the town.
late.
That was
Oh,
before. That was
Oh,
back
what
in
the
the
hell?
town.
How did I not write that down? I swear to God, I wrote that down.
It was back in Dunmarsh.
Well,
it was right after
oh!
you defeated.
No, yeah, here it is. Yeah, right after we defeated him, we went to bed that night, and within a dream, Jorah and I became another person. I became Flem, a halfling barbarian, which I'm keeping that for later. Caleb was in the group, and he left and said the world would end in 120 days. Then we met Zar the Beholder, and everybody died in the dream, which
So-
we then woke up.
That 120 days till the world ends, disregard that.
There's no way.
I've written that out. I
They're-
realized how bad of a writing that is, and I wrote it out of the campaign.
He said the world will end. How about that?
Yeah. The world will end.
I think that's more ominous anyway. Like, oh, really? The world will end? Yes. When? I don't know. All right.
The world will end soon.
Okay, soon. Soon. Okay. To which, yeah, we were awoken by a glowing red eye in the middle of the sky, watching the town. To which I think only Rob really saw. Jorah went up to look next. I don't think he saw it.
No, he didn't.
And then I came up, didn't see it. But then the next morning, after the dream had happened, Jorah went to say something to me, and Rob was right there. So I was like, shh, shh. And I,
Jorah actually took long enough for it to actually disappear before he actually went up to the window.
right.
He didn't go instantly.
So that had happened. We had a discussion about not telling the party of the dream that we shared because it could panic us, them. And then that's when we left. Bradley, woman, and then that night in the guild hall, I heard singing. Didn't Feifel also hear it? Is that also a reason why because me and him were talking, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And then you were like, roll a perception check. Okay. Oh, no, wait. I was trying to see if I could hear Jorah. And you were like, sure, roll a perception check. Instead of Jorah, you hear this.
No, you heard Jorah, but you
Oh,
also
okay, no.
heard singing coming from the lake.
That's when I
Because
bolted.
you rolled super high.
I rolled like, not a natural 20, but like 24 or something.
Yeah.
So you were like, I guess he gets this one. So Caleb then busted out of his door, went to Jorah. I can hear singing from the lake. Let's go. It's a mystery to solve. Okay, gang. We just turned into like the mystery gang for a little bit. So we go, and we get to the river, and instead of singing, we can only hear and
Well,
feel
the singing
vibe.
died out, and that's why you
The
wanted to go
singing-
investigate.
Okay, the singing had died out. So by the time we had hit the lake, or actually, isn't it a delta? No, it is a lake because then there's a small land bridge, not land bridge. There's a small section between the mainland and an island. We got to the lake. I believe I put my hand in the lake, and then it was vibrating. But we never investigated hard enough to determine what it was, and so Caleb, being obsessive as he then became in that moment, sat in the water trying to think it out. Legs numb, exhausted. In the morning, after everyone had left him,
It's more the right people didn't investigate it. It was an underwater humming of a song,
yeah. Well, I was
and
gonna get
only
to
amphibious people could actually hear what was being sung.
which didn't Rob jump in, but not.
No,
Oh,
Rob never jumped in. He did not trust it.
God dang it! Oh,
You
well.
jumped in and swam out.
I did. That's
And
right.
then you
I
came
did. And
back
I was
and
like
you sat to where you were about waist deep.
waist deep. And I was like, Rob, the water's fine.
No, man, I ain't doing that shit.
And it was like, God damn it. So I basically sat there the whole night and was just dealing with it, like, getting like one of like the hardest like vibrating plate massages you could ever have. Man, my legs must have been like that was a good leg day right there. But anyway, and the morning came or dawn came, and at about I don't know 7 or 8 o'clock on the dot, a as I have seen, as the sun rose, a gargantuan merwoman, goddess-like being, emerged from the water, and not necessarily walk, because she's a mermaid woman, merwoman, but I don't know, slither. Is that what mer tails could do? Is slither?
You
Shimmy?
were not paying attention to her legs at that moment. You don't know if she had legs or a mertail.
Oh, well, I thought I was paying attention enough to like draw her as I was witnessing her.
Yeah, and then we just kind of went with the image that was drawn for it.
Theros. Oh, okay.
She never actually had a mertail.
Oh, all right. Well, okay. Well, I drew her to the best of my ability. It wasn't great. It was all right. It was subpar.
I think you rolled like a 9 or an 8.
I think I rolled just under a 10, which sucks. And then they rolled they got out of bed, was like, all right, let's go see what Caleb is doing, and headed out. And they made a roll, and they just missed their chance to see her.
No, that's
as
right. She does have a tail.
Yeah, she has a tail.
Yep.
So they came just in time to see me clawing my way through the sand, like, ah, there was a woman in the lake who was huge. And I don't know if they believe me or not. It's fine. We'll never see her again. It's fine. But at this moment, Caleb basically hit the hay really hard because Tim, had to work nights for about 2 months.
And that's about the time it took to be able to do anything.
Yeah, that's right.
You only missed like one session after that.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, that's right.
They got the missions. They got the 2 missions to go either up towards the pit and fight the champion of the pit, because the champion is said to have a sword that can take down anyone in one hit, and they are looking for any adventurers that feel that they could take them on. And they're paying a good amount of money just to fight a champion of the pit. And so they took that one, and then there was a second bounty that they also took, which was to deal with some bullywugs down south. And they decided to go do the one down south first. Which, who knows if that was a good decision or not. They went down south, and on their way there, they ran into some bullywugs. And they went with the bullywugs and talked with their leader. Not bullywugs. Yeah, no, they were bullywugs. The grung was banished from her hometown or banished from his hometown when he was. The color of his skin was altered in a way that it makes it very obvious that they are banished. So when the grung came to this town, the bullywugs all looked super sad, and one of them gave the banished grung a copper coin because he felt bad that he was banished, which he kind of took offense to.
Offense, and I was like, oh shit.
Well, you weren't there for that one.
No, but when I heard about it, I was like, oh, and then, no, it's offensive. Oh.
Yeah, it's very much offensive. It's very much a rich person coming to a poor person.
Between
like,
adventure.
Here, have $1.
You fucking asshole.
Gotta watch your fucking pity, man.
yeah, that's very much the normal response is like, no, I don't want your pity. But
Didn't Rob take it?
Rob
Pocketed
took it and started crying a little bit.
Oh.
And then they went up. They talked with the leader. They found out that the bullywugs have been stealing stuff from the merchant because their food supply, their fish, have started becoming less populated, and they just wanted a variety. They got tired of just eating flies and other flying insects. They wanted fish, and so the player characters decided to go off down towards the town to have a talk with the town that was close by, which is a fishing village, to tell them to let up a little bit on the fishing because the bullywugs need fish too. And that's when they come across
Cheska!
no Caleb.
Oh.
You
Wait, when
were
did they come
at
across
your
Cheska?
camp drawing? Oh no, Cheska isn't for a little bit.
Oh.
That's as
yeah,
you guys are
so
heading north.
Basically, as they had, they left, and a few days into it, I guess, I would say half the distance they've traveled, Caleb then wakes up with a coin on his chest that said Baelig South, to which then he, before heading out, went and asked the half-orc, dwarf, tiefling, and guildmaster talking with Mary about the gargantuan mermaid and the beholder, and he didn't know about either of them. So I headed out, and at some point in time, I said "Cheers to mischief" to Rob, and no one else heard it. But no, I basically made it like a little bit, like right to the point of where they would come back to me, and Caleb was sitting at the campfire that he had made.
The Cheers to Mischief wasn't until after this.
Okay. Caleb was at the fire, going to his sketchbook, trying to like redraw the gargantuan woman, which I rolled even lower than what I had rolled the first time, and you were like, and I was told it looked quite shitty, and he just tore the page out and threw it in the fire. To which, unsuspectingly, I then found myself accosted by a sprinting dark gnome who then punched the sun at me for apparently no goddamn reason until,
No.
of course, I learned it's because books are sacred. But it's like, literally, it's my property. What the hell? It wasn't a great time for Caleb, getting sun punched. But he saw Gardak, who he knew, and saw him running at him aggressively, and was like, oh god, what is happening? And so he prepared to cast Charm Person, because he feels like, okay, I think maybe there's a misunderstanding somewhere. Didn't work. Again. And Caleb got punched with a sun by a gnome. And so then he was like, what are you doing? Throwing away, whatever he said. Throwing away pages of a book, and it's like, it's literally a sketchbook, and it literally is mine, and who are you to do this? I hate you now. And then, Jorah healed me up. Like, you're fine. And then, after that, we settled down, I guess. And, we traveled to that. Okay, then the next day, I was talking to Rob, and we had like fallen back a little bit.
Well, no, Rob had fallen back. He picked up a couple flowers, and he was plucking the flower petals off of it.
Right, and
in
so
a sad manner.
And so I came back, and I was like, I don't know.
You guys had a little conversation, and then you said something about partners in mischief, or
I said cheers to mischief. And I think I tried to like hand bump him with the mage hand. To which Jorah was instantly like, oh, did I hear that? Oh no, I didn't, because he rolled super low on his perception, and I think Gardak and nope, Cheska wasn't there. Astrid, I think they both tried, but they all did horribly, and I was like, so anyway, we headed to the Sun's Rays, a tavern in Balag, and that's when we had discovered the person who broke Astrid's spine. I have to change that. I thought it was just her legs, not her spine. Spine.
Well, he broke her spine, which made her legs unusable.
Right, I just thought he broke her knees. That's
No.
what I thought. I thought he fucking, like, kneecapped her.
No.
But anyway, Bogarth. Bogarth was the man. And, we couldn't really hear what he was saying, so I sent my familiar Faith Art Fievel in to listen in. And, he was gloating, talking about his fights, and then was talking about how every fight was a one hit, and they died. And, oh man, the notes got real funky here. At some point in time, I made an arcane investigation to determine that I could feel or notice 3 schools of magic upon something. Divination. Oh, wait. Oh, it was about the weapon. That the weapon they were talking about, I had an inkling that a weapon that could do that could have been enchanted by divination, transmutation, or necromancy, I think.
A weapon that could kill someone in one hit.
Yeah, that's and so
It
that
was
is
not.
what that note.
No, it was not about the person that broke Astrid's spine. That was
No,
he said that he got out of the fight because the new champion that rose up could defeat anyone with a single blow.
no, but I was saying that hearing that the champion could kill someone in one hit made an arcane.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. You
Yeah.
said that he was saying that he could.
No, I said that he
one blow.
mentioned the thing about the every fight was one hit, and so I had tried to think. Well, either way, yeah. So I tried to think what school of magic could kill someone in one hit, which was those 3. And then
Well, there's
the man's
possibilities in all those 3.
right. Those are the 3 I have the biggest guess about. So then the man Bogarth said he was going to head west, and was singing, drunk, lazily stumbling through the town, walking out, and
You guys decided to interrupt his stumbling, drunken singing.
yes, actually no, we didn't because he fell down flat on his face.
Oh yeah, he fell down. He passed out
He did,
from being drunk.
and I just had Feifel following him, and I went into his eyes, and Feifel was just sitting there watching this man just like on the ground.
And you guys brought him back to the inn.
And tied him up.
You tied him up. I think you actually did release him before he like really came to.
Yeah, because we were thinking about trying to make it so that Astrid was escorting him back to his garrison, which we learned
this is
he was from.
when the player decided that they weren't going to play Astrid anymore, even though I had set this all up so that they could follow this person and find
Their
out a bunch of
backstory.
stuff.
So they were like, no.
They were like, no, I don't want to investigate the backstory. I'm not going to play this character anymore.
Astrid is not built right for this campaign. Well, okay.
Could have been if you guys went down that path. Would have been
mean,
fine.
I literally
And
don't
then-
know any other path you
And
speak
then
of.
Gardak went off with another deep gnome and was talking about their stars. And then he saw that his star moved in a way that shouldn't have been possible.
And then he was like, I'm going to leave the campaign now. Okay, bye.
Well, he didn't want to. That was
I
that
know,
was
he
out of
didn't.
his
It
control.
was out of, yep. Sadly.
But I was gearing up for a lot of things, and later I talked through what I had planned for Gardak, and he really liked it. He wished that he could still be in the campaign so he could actually see it play out, because he absolutely loved it. which made me feel really good because that means I actually did
Well.
something right in writing.
And then
So you guys, instead of following the lead of the Astrid's backstory or following the lead of the star that seems to be moving, you continued with the bullywug thing,
yep.
and you went and talked with the fishermen, told them to stop fishing. They said no, it is how we make our money of the town. It is how the town thrives. We cannot do that. And then you guys intimidated them to find a proper solution to this.
We
And that's
intimidated
when
him because we
Cheska-
found Cheska.
Yeah, that's when Cheska came up. And
I can intimidate him real nice.
Okay.
you guys convinced them to trade with the bullywugs, so the bullywugs had something going on. Trade fish to them instead of trading it with the capital, so that they don't get as much money, so they don't grow as fast. So it's going to be a smaller town for much longer. And then you guys headed back up, and that's when a very small group of, right as that ended, it was something actually happened, or something from Rob's backstory that no one ever asked about actually happened, and it was Rob's late love interest. It was their birthday.
Wait, what? Hold on. Sorry, I was. What?
Yeah.
Wait, when was it?
The day that you guys talked the people on the ship to trade with the bullywugs was also the day of Rob's love interest that died.
Yeah. Yeah, that was murdered.
It was their birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Or anniversary.
And he.
The whole reason
obviously...
he had the flower and he was pulling off the petals was because it was approaching, and he was getting really super sad.
Kind of don't think he was gonna reveal any of that.
It's fine. It's gonna be stuff that's gonna come up.
It's gonna
Especially
come
if
up.
you
And
guys
he's gonna
pursue this Lily aspect of
Lily,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna come up.
which, still not gonna lie, Flyboy taking over for Lexi. I'm just like, oh man, this is the moment I really wish the character was there, so we could make an informed decision. But she was just down and out for the count.
Yeah, we're getting to that. So you guys start heading back up north.
Well, east.
No, you.
Northeast.
North.
Well, no. If we had just got done with the fishing village, we still had to head back to
Aldport. It's
Yeah.
more. It was more just north at this point.
Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah,
it
I'm
was
thinking of a
slightly
different line.
east, but it was more north.
Okay, yeah.
You guys start heading back up that way. You pull out the thing, and it was a picture of a wanted poster or something.
Yeah. So before it's like before we left. Wait, no. Okay.
This is when you pulled it out, though.
No, hold on. No. After this whole thing had happened, is when I was working again to a point where I couldn't be a part of the games for a while, and so we had basically decided that my mother, who I had, severed contact with, had
That was
made it
right
to
before convincing the people to trade with the bullywugs.
Yeah. So my mother had been had found the guild hall and had sent a letter, or had asked them to send me a letter, and then I guess somebody was like, hold on, I can just send him a message. Caleb, I think someone here is looking for you. They say they're your mother. And Caleb, I could only imagine at that point, just goes, oh fuck, I gotta go, and just runs all the way back to Aldport.
Mm-hmm.
which we still have yet to resolve that whole thing.
I already told you it was just something small. It wasn't going to be anything big, and basically the information that we already covered the information that would have been said in the conversation.
Right, which I don't think I wrote that down, so we'll have to talk about that again. But I returned back, but basically I get there, I'm back at Aldport for a day or two, maybe I think it's just one before they come back. But in the day that they are returning, I go to the bounty board and I see that there are four. One has been there for a year. It's a 50,000 gold piece reward to slay the Dragon Council of Paladin Peaks, which
Yep.
I was like, we'll put a pin in that for later. And then there were 3 others: an assistance call in Inmuth, problems with the sea, lifetime supply. Well, that's what they did. The good dirty fishing rod investigation, strange objects, Aberith, 1 request per party member, and then missing persons, someone named Hazel looking for lost female human. Please contact, we'll give details. Lieutenant Cooper, to which I was like, do I remember that this Hazel is Jorah's daughter? And you were like, did I roll for it? I can't remember if I did.
You rolled
No, I
for
did.
it, and you didn't get very high, so no.
I didn't get very high, so you were like, yeah, this is somebody that you think that Jorah's talked about a lot. And so I was like, okay, I'll take it, put it in my pocket, and hold on to it. So I did.
All right,
then-
and the rest of the party came back up. They got ambushed by
The force of whatever.
no, the Force of the Vicious is the one that you guys are on.
No,
The
I
Tranquility of Might.
Tranquility of Might. God.
It was a very small group, and all they had was a spell scroll, and they cast whatever was on the spell scroll, which happened to be Fireball. And then they said that the Tranquility of Might sends their regards, and then they ran off.
Motherfuckers.
They weren't wizards themselves, but they were hired by the Tranquility of Might to deliver that message. The rest of the party limped their way back to town, and they met up with Caleb. Caleb showed that, and Jorah was like, "That's my daughter. We need to go north now."
We need to go now, and we were like, "Wait, let's
Because,
get paid." Oh yeah, okay.
Lieutenant Cooper was Bradley Cooper.
I only just realized that.
What? That they were one and the same?
No, Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see, I make jokes every once in a while. I weave jokes into my storytelling.
It's a good joke. So anyway, Joe was like, "We need to go," and I was like, "What about our pay?" Oh, okay, yes, I'll pay. And so we get paid, and then we go, and then we arrive after we pass Dunmouth, before we hit
Dunmarsh, I mean?
Lagloch. No, it's after Dunmarsh.
It's not Dunmouth.
Sorry, Dunmarsh.
That's what I meant. You meant Dunmarsh?
Yeah, after Dunmarsh, before a different city, we see a banner in front of a burning, or what previously burned, watchtower of a fist with a flaming circle, the Blazing Fist, the same ones that raided Jorah's town. Jorah was then besmitten for a moment. Then we, I think,
Got up to where the map says another town should be, but you didn't necessarily see it until you guys looked
Right.
up and realized it was a village in the trees.
right, but I was going to also say, at some point in time, I was told about a place called Rest Home Wonder Emporium, Isle of Bears, which I think was told to me by somebody in this town.
Yeah. You
So
were
there's
you were
that.
looking for something. I don't remember what it was, but they offered those places.
I literally spell scrolls. That's what it was, I think.
I thought it was something very specific.
I know I was definitely asking. I think I was asking for spell scrolls, but I think I was looking to see if I could find message maybe.
As a spell scroll?
Because, huh?
Message is going to be very difficult to find as a spell scroll. They usually don't put
What?
cantrips as a spell scroll.
No, not sending.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yes.
sending. Yes. No, yeah, sending, because also when we were at the guild and told them of our success, you know, one of the people used sending, and I was like,
Could I has? And they were like, no. And I was like, damn it.
but what? Am I on US East? I should be on US. It's US West. I should be on US East. So, we passed the city, the tree city, which I think was just a city of elves, of wood elves,
Mainly, yes.
mainly.
There were other
Then
people
we
that
stopped.
lived up there.
Oh, okay.
About that time is when Rob had to go away.
Yeah.
Because of their work, because of her work. She wasn't able to join us for a while. So at that point, she was actually captured. While going around and talking to some people, asking some questions, she was actually captured by Rob was captured by a half orc. And you guys didn't even ask about Rob.
Oh my God! No, yeah, we.
It was like two sessions later. You guys were like, "Wait, where's Rob?"
He's just so sneaky. You know what? I'm just gonna put that right on Jorah, because who's the one who's like, my little buddy? But like, oh, the moment he's gone, you fucking, you don't even
you
know.
also just kept pushing Jorah about his daughter to the
Yes,
point
I
where that was
was.
the only thing he was thinking about.
Exactly. I do not regret that. What the fuck is a gith?
It is a hippo person.
Oh. Okay. Interesting.
Oh, you know what? There isn't a grung on here yet. This is outdated.
And
Nothing. So
why
okay,
do you
we
say
hit the.
GIF? Oh, GIF. No, sorry, that's
GIF.
not hippo people. That's
Oh.
GIFF is hippo people. GIF.
Oh no, I was saying gif.
They are a yellow-skinned like elf, almost elf. They're not really elves.
Oh.
Kind of race.
Oh.
They lived on the bodies of dead gods in the astral sea.
What the
And
Oh,
then the Illithids, the mind flayers, took took them and used them as slaves.
Oh
And they
shit.
led a revolt against the mind flayers, and they broke free of it.
Oh. Okay.
And they're basically in constant war with mind flayers. That's the
So-
gift.
God, I hope it's like enemy of my enemy sort of a thing.
It depends. Depends on the right gift. So you guys, you
We
wound
reached
up making up.
Lagloch.
You make up to Lagloch, and you run into Bradley, and he gets you guys to get. Oh no, you guys go up to a barn
Mm-hmm.
because the people seemed very off, and you asked about it, and you eventually got that the Blazing Fist. No, you guys got the information from the
We-
previous town.
Yeah. Oh, from this. Yeah. I think. Yeah, because I
That they
think we had
passed
learned
through.
from them. Yeah, that they had passed through, and we had heard that they were now called like the Order of the Merciful Swords,
Yeah.
under the command of Commander Grace,
Yep.
and that there are ruins by Morosa, and that there was a quote. It was, I think, by Jorah. It was not her place to question those above her, unless that was Bradley. And then we hear
That was
Altport-
Bradley.
And then we hear Altport is their goal. I don't know why that's 2 words. Why'd I do that? Altport is their goal. Dunmarsh is holding them back.
Yes, Dunmarsh has
And then we,
been able
and
to
then
hold them back.
we came upon a random NPC, a random person who was walking with their family, minding their own business, whose name is Rono, or Renault.
Mm-hmm.
Renault. I don't know. Renault. And then, out from the snow comes Fontaine Genevis. Is that still his name?
Fontaine. Yep. I don't know about his last name,
Shit. All right.
but yeah, Fontaine.
Yep.
And we heard from Fontaine's backstory why he is up in this direction previously, because I
We're
was
all-
pulling up information.
We're almost there. We're almost at current events.
Mm-hmm. And you guys make it to Laglock. You run into. You want to investigate, see what's going on with the Blazing Fist or the Order of the Merciful Swords. So you guys make your way to a barn, which is the closest building you guys can get to.
I think
their
owned
keep.
by Renault.
Yes.
Renault. Mm-hmm.
And you guys stake out in the barn, and he says that you guys can stay there as long as you don't cause too much trouble. 'Cause he doesn't want to be he doesn't want to be killed. He has
Targeted.
a family.
Yep.
He has a family to watch out for. And Bradley sneaks up on you, which the only person that actually saw him this time was Jorah. Which previously he was the only one that didn't see Bradley sneaking up on you guys. So you guys have some talk with Jorah, with Bradley, and Bradley tells you that they are in there, that Commander Grace is in there, and Jorah is dead set on going in there, finding her, and trying to convince her to denounce the order that she is currently with, because they are serving evil deeds.
And this crazy dude decides he's gonna strip down again, right?
Yes, because
He
his
strips
armor,
down.
his heavy armor gives him disadvantage, so he strips down and uses leather.
I think
he
so.
wore leather.
And I gave him good
Invisibility,
old invisibility
because wizards can do that.
because goddamn right.
They make their way through a side passage into the keep, because all keeps are built the same. They know how they work. They've been in the military. They make their way through that, and everyone else stays in the barn, ready to go if things go south.
Which Caleb would know because his concentration would just end.
Yes. So you guys make your way in, and they make their way into the keep through the side passage. They get to where the armory is. They go in there, and there is Commander Grace suiting up in armor, as if she is preparing for something.
But she only made it like halfway through, but not enough to make it 100% fully armored.
Yeah,
right?
she had just she was halfway through putting her armor on. She was like just starting to set everything to put the breastplate on, when Jorah decided to walk into that room, leaving Bradley in the hallway, which Bradley wandered off, found a place where they kept donuts nearby.
God damn it, Bradley! You don't even know. Where's Grace? No, I smell donuts. Hey, Joe, you've got it right. Yeah.
Jorah talks with Commander Grace, who Commander Grace seems very dead set that they must be still in the company that she is in. That Jorah is the one who is wrong, and should join back up with them, and they end up fighting, which Jorah just barely scrapes through.
Oh my god!
Barely.
And he was so damn close, but luckily enough, as soon as he defended himself or struck out, the concentration vanished. Jorah visible. Caleb eyes wide open. Oh fuck! Time to go. And so we
Charge the front of the keep.
So no, hold on, listen. Cheska bursts through the door. And so yes, we charged the front of the keep, but from the side, so it was great. So I, while not realizing it, used chromatic orb, gulp, because I didn't realize I needed a fucking 50 gold diamond for it, and so we acted like I used it once or twice and dropped it
like a dumb and
Yeah.
couldn't find it in the snow. So that was that. Obi-Wan's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
But that was resolved later. But anyway, so Fighter, we got to see his skills in action. Holy shit. And then we saw Cheska's skills in action. Again, holy shit. And I melted a man. Holy shit.
Good. And
I think-
Jorah finds Bradley, gets him
Oh.
finds him eating donuts.
What's going on?
And before he found Bradley, he actually touched Commander Grace's sword and saw a vision
The rune, son of soul.
of a very, like almost a teardrop shaped black stone that had souls pouring into it. And then a skeleton hand reached from the blackness, grabbed the stone, and retracted back into the darkness.
And then he took damage.
And then
Necrotic.
he took damage when he first saw the vision. It was part of it, and then
Right.
So he wrapped up the sword and made it so he cannot
Doesn't physically
touch it.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes it with him. And I actually
he
have
noticed-
to get going very soon, so I think that's
Oh.
where we're gonna have to stop for this one. For today.
Damn it, I was gonna say he noticed on the runes carried by General Grace that they are abyssal. The spacing doesn't create words though, but an oath. Jorah has a vision of Angel of Death.
Well, he didn't know it
Which-
was the Angel of Death.
Oh, okay,
The
right.
vision is the
However,
thing that I just described.
right, which does make me think though that he got a glimpse of Merkel again. For the first time, I should say.
Possibly, maybe. Who knows?
Oh!
I
Oh,
have it all planned out. I have it all written, so you won't know until it happens.
Yeah, he won't know until he somehow finds this teardrop stone in my fucking robe.
And yeah, that's gonna do it for this week's recap. We unfortunately did not get all caught up on Barrister like I was really hoping. Next
Got
week,
close though.
we're probably gonna start around the same time. Might be a little bit later. A D&D in-person D&D group that I have usually yesterday. Sundays got moved to today, so that's why we're doing it early today. But yes, next week we will probably be starting actually around 7 p.m. Pacific time, and we will finish up Barrister, the recap, catch up on a couple other campaigns that are going on, and then talk about what happened in our Faragoth campaign back when we were running that. Oh man, that's
Rip.
a long one.
Rip.
So that's what's going to happen next week. The week after that, we're going to go through and talk about character sheets and the different aspects of a character sheet and how to build a character for any new players for D&D that might find it
Nobody
overwhelming.
Nobody cares, Matthew Mercer.
Oh man.
Yeah, so we're gonna go through. We're gonna create a character. We're gonna talk about all the different aspects of creating a character. We're gonna talk about the different stats, what they mean. Talk about the different skills, what they do, all that.
Hey man, you know what you should do?
What?
You should try and see if you can get Matthew Mercer on the show for
man.
like 30 minutes. For like 30 minutes just to talk about D&D, bruh.
I do not have
We'd like to welcome-
near enough the fame or following to be able to get him.
It
to do
doesn't.
that.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yes,
Matthew
it
Mercer
does.
is a great guy. No,
Oh yeah, no,
listen,
he
man.
definitely is, but he is also very busy, and he
he could
probably will
be-
not have time to come to my 1 to 2 to 3 viewer
Ow.
stream.
Listen, as soon as we type in featuring Matthew Mercer, thousands and thousands.
Yeah,
We're gonna
and
get-
I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want that kind of publicity immediately
Dude,
because
it's-
I want to get my feet on the ground first. I want to
gonna
be
be
able
like-
to. I want to be able to stand on my own before I start inviting people to.
Oh, bro, you can. Here you are doing it already,
Well,
standing
I'm
on
trying.
your own.
See, this is only the second time I've done this. I've been trying to make it so that I do it every single Monday. That way I can get my feet on the ground. And usually
So-
Brent is doing it with me. So, and
Oh. Ow!
he had to leave early because he had some family stuff going on.
Hey, you just did a thing that kind of hurt.
What?
You messed with your microphone or something.
Oh, sorry.
Ow, ears.
I was
Anyway.
moving the cord because it was wrapping around something I didn't want it wrapped around.
Yeah, it went like to me,
Oh, my
and
bad.
I was like, oof.
I didn't know it was that loud. I didn't know it would do that.
No, it literally like doubled your volume, and right in my left ear, and I was like, "Ow, my bad ear." I didn't know that when you do this, Brent was also here. I actually kind of I didn't really. Well, I mean, I haven't actually watched this yet. I actually was literally about to jump in the shower when this came up, and I was like, "All right, yeah, let's start watching this." And then it's like I'm still here ready to take a shower.
It was right after that was right after Brent left.
No, I've been here
Yeah,
since before he left.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no,
I've
I
been here
started
since
last
you
week.
started.
We talked about a couple other campaigns because I've joined a couple of his.
Right. Oh, nice.
We caught up on Fear and Loathing, everything that happened in Fear and Loathing last week. So
Yeah.
that one's all up to date, and it's probably we don't know if it'll ever continue, but we did catch up on that. We talked about the other one that I joined on with him on Saturday, which is called Goblin Wilds, which is right before, or it's early in the morning on Saturday.
Right.
And we talked about that last week.
You know, I'm wondering, has O'Neill actually messaged you since everything happened?
Yeah, he has.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, but that's it for this week. Like I said, next week is going to be finishing up this and hopefully talking about everything that happened in Faragoth. There is a lot there, so that might take a couple weeks to actually fully unpack. And then hopefully after that's done, the week after we finally finish that is, or maybe the same day if we get through it quite fast, we are going to go up through the character sheet, talk about everything that's on the character sheet for any new players, and be able to tell what everything is. And that way, people actually understand how character sheets work and that they aren't these big, scary things that take forever to make.
That's the same. That was actually the fear I had when I was first introduced to D&D back in like freshman or no, not even freshman year of high school. Back when, oh god, Infamous had just released,
Mm-hmm.
and
The hardest
Like,
part of making the character sheet is making it initially, and then from there, you pretty much don't have to do anything to it till you level up, and you change like 3 things on it, and you're done leveling.
Yep.
So once you get
Like,
your character
literally,
sheet
I-
made, it is super easy to keep the character and keep going with the character. You don't have to do much to
Like,
it each session.
yeah, I literally looked at this and like 3 of my friends had like grabbed these papers and had a bunch of shit, and I looked at it like, and I went back into the living room to play Infamous, and I was like, I'm gonna go do a thing I understand, and did that.
Yeah, that's why I want to go through it. I want to talk about all the
Yep.
different aspects of it and talk about what.
And the amount of technology
How to
that
do it.
exists now with helping to do it is amazing, especially when back then it wasn't a
is.
thing.
It is.
And so it's like you have however many apps, you have D&D Beyond, you have like Character Creator, you know, that's just like free apps that you can get download, and then you have what, you know, is offered by like Fantasy Grounds and even Roll20.
But
And it's
a
just
lot of those different places doesn't fill in everything, and if you don't know what
Right.
you're doing with the character sheet, you wouldn't know that you're
Yeah.
missing it.
Yep.
So that's why I want to go through it. All right, well, I'm going to have to go. That'll be the end of the stream this week. Tune in next week when we finish the recap and hopefully get through Barrister.
Finish the
Or-
recap.
No, we're going to finish Barrister. We're going to hopefully get through Faragoth. It's a lot. There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yep. Thank
Rest
you for
in
watching. Hope to see you next week.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.